Good morning, my lovely sisters. I am sitting here in my camper. It's a 27-foot long camper that I pulled yesterday. I have been being a woman who pulls a camper and who does all of the things, and I am here. I'm feeling grateful. I have a little bit of a groggy headache, and I'm just feeling like so in awe of my life right now, because no matter what my inner critic keeps telling me of the things that I should be doing, I just know. Like this morning I was walking my dogs around this lovely lake, and my boys are fishing on the dock with my nephews, and I'm just like so freaking grateful that I'm here. And even though, right, like my mind might have bigger ideas of where I need to be, like right here is exactly where I need to be. And yesterday was just like a show of like when you do all of the hard work that like exhaling and relaxation come. Because yesterday started, I woke up at 6:11 and I wrote my affirmations and I did my gratitude practice, and then I rode the bicycle in the basement, and then from 8 a.m. until freaking 10, which was not as bad, I spent loading the things that I had packed the day before into the back of my husband's truck. And when I say I'm on a camper trip, it is me and my kiddos and my 2 dogs, because my husband's at work. And it is so much work. And we picked up our camper because it has been stored for the last 4 months, because we got in a really bad hailstorm in South Dakota at the end of the camping year last year, and we had to get all of this work done. And I picked up the camper with the entire hatchback full. It's not even the hatchback, the back of the truck with the topper full. And it was funny because I had like a little sliver of space, and I made a pickup at a grocery place, and I get out of the truck, and there was a lot of things because I ordered some like organizational items for the camper. And the lady came and she was with this guy, and he had like 4 totes piled on top of each other. And she goes, "Great." And she exhaled, and I just looked at her and I smiled and I said, "It's going to be okay. We can make this work. We can just set everything here." And I bought a new trash can and a big tote to put all of our shoes in with a lid for the camper. And I was just like, I decided to have a positive attitude instead of being like a snarfly parful to her. And I just started moving things, and I said, "Don't worry about it. I can help. I can do this. We've got this." And she just changed her attitude from being like a grumpy woman into a nice lady. And because I chose to respond to her in a nice way, like instead of responding, I reacted to her. And this is something I've been really learning, is like the way that we respond, that's when we're like, "Rah!" And we can jump down people's throats and be so cranky and yucky. Or we can choose to react from like a more grounded, like calmer perspective. And it just like shows so much that the way that we show up in our attitude like really directly affects other people. And then the conversation with that woman went from like her being like yucky, and then I was like, "You know what? It's fine." And then I said, "Oh yeah, we're actually going on our first camper trip of this year." And she said, "Oh, well, it sounds like it'll be a nice weekend." And it was so interesting. And it just showed me that I get to choose the way that I respond to people, right? And maybe earlier in the day yesterday, I was not responding so nicely to my kids, because it is a lot of freaking work to pack up everything. And I'm just grateful for this like camper. I have this lovely camper, and it's so funny because it is a great freaking camper. But I'm next door to my dad and my mom and then my sister, and they both have these super swanky, fancy campers. And it's funny how no matter like what it is that we have, like we always find ourselves like wanting more, right? We find ourselves like, "Oh my gosh, my sister's camper is so much nicer than mine." And it's like every time I go into her camper, it's almost like these feelings of like, "Oh, my camper is kind of shitty." And then I have to like, erase that. Like I told myself at the beginning of this trip, I was going to let judgment go, because like quit fucking judging ourselves. Why do we always feel the need to judge and compare ourselves? Because years ago, like this is the 3rd year we've had this camper, I didn't even have a camper. I had a tent with totes full of shit that I would have to move in and out, and I would have to wake up in the middle of the night and go pee outside or go pee in a public facility. So like, hello, like there is always going to be someone worse off than us, and then there's always going to be someone better off than us. And again, hello, I guess the whole topic of this conversation is like how we respond and react to people, like where our lives and our situation is. I can choose to respond and react with gratitude instead of like that like part of us that wants to chime in and saying like, oh, I don't have this and I don't have that, right? It's like an interesting dichotomy. And this is funny, like the word dichotomy was a word that I remember. I was listening to a Bob Proctor book, who is one of my like amazing spiritual prosperity mentors who actually passed away a couple months ago. And I remember I heard him saying the word dichotomy, or actually, I'm thinking I was reading it in a book and I had no idea. And every time I used to read books that I couldn't understand words, it would make me almost feel stupider. And then I would stop reading the book. But what I have done to combat that is now every time I'm reading or I hear a word that I don't understand or I don't know, do you know what I do? I actually just Google it and I find out the definition of the word. And then I like repeat it to myself and I say it in a way that I will remember. So dichotomy is like this word where it's like there's like two meanings to the word, right? And sometimes the meanings can have like an opposite effect to things. So that was like my fun fact, because instead of like continuing to self-hinder ourselves and feel like we don't have worth, like what are things that we can do to give us more value and to give us more worth? And I always think that that's growing and learning more. Like we have to help ourselves out, because this is like a funny saying, but it's like if we always do what we've always done, then we'll always get what we've always got, right? Do we always want to get the same thing? We're always going to get the same thing if we allow the same self-hindering thoughts, right? And this morning, right, after I'm like exhaling, like I am not kidding you, my friends, like I spent off and on like 4 hours in my camper cleaning the nastiest like winter sludge and like bugs and just nasty shit off of everything and like out of all of the cabinets and just freaking scrubbing the camper. And I feel like that was really helpful for me too, to like bring my own worth and confidence to myself in my camper, which is like something that seems so silly, but like you got to put your elbow grease and your energy into the camper, into the cleaning, right? Have you done that before? Like times where you're just feeling kind of like shit and then you clean something really good and then it just like, thank you so much. It boosts you up so much. And after I like scrubbed and cleaned, I had an entire back filled with bedding for 4 beds, with food, with cups and plates and silverware and pots and pans and trash cans and everything that you would think that you would need in a 24-foot long camper. I had it jam-packed in the back of the truck as well as with a pickup order. And so after cleaning the camper for like 2 freaking hours, my friends, I got everything set up and it took me another like 2 hours and I got everything just like, feeling so great. And then, of course, the kids like come in at night and everyone sleeps. And this morning, Milo, my 10-year-old, woke me up at 5:55, which I used to wake up at 5 all of the time. But I woke up with like a little kind of headache. And it's funny because I didn't have one drink yesterday. And I almost felt like I had like this kind of like hangover, like an energy hangover in my head. And maybe it was all the shit I was holding on to, needed to just like let it go. And I woke up and Milo was already out the door. He was out the door by 6 o'clock, like getting ready to fish. And then Jackie and Junie shortly rolled out of bed. And I started being really grumpy. And then like I had to realign myself and come back to like, I'm grateful for this bed. I always do that. Like I have this morning gratitude practice that no matter what is happening, I just come back to gratitude. And inspired from Bob Proctor, I just love him and I'm sending him love. I told you that he passed away, but he has inspired me to create the life that I want to live. And even if I'm not exactly where I want to be, like I'm still creating in my mind. So I like go through like my list of all of my things that I want to manifest. And it always starts with, I'm so happy and grateful now that, You start with a grateful heart and a grateful mind. And then I went through that, and then I felt a little better. And then I start just like taking the dogs for this lovely walk outside. And it's like cold, but not so cold. Not so cold that I needed a winter coat, because up in Estes yesterday, it was like spitting a little bit of snow in the coldest wind. And I'm like, what? I'm on a camper trip, and it's April 21st. And I'm like here on our first camper trip. My dog is outside. It's not snowing. And I'm freaking grateful. And no matter what my inner voice says that I need to be doing or haven't done, like, I'm here and I'm just showing up for all of the things. And I know that my life is just unfolding on its own timing. And I just wanted to share this because I know that we all get so stuck up in like the judgment game and the comparison game and the like, I need to be here game. And I think that we like let our life slip between our fingers. Like, I am here, and my nephew just turned 13 yesterday. That's why we're here. And my daughter is 12, my oldest, and my little one just turned 8. He just turned 8 on, when was his birthday? On Sunday. And it is just like, it just goes to show that time passes, and that no matter what it is that we have on our agenda or our to-do list, that we still need to freaking show up. And even if our goals and our to-do list, like, we haven't checked everything off, like, still show up, like, still do the things, and still like keep showing up. And I know that I get like so caught up too in between this, like, I love being a mom and being with my kids, and then like striving to be like a success and like helping share my book and helping women heal on a deeper level. And I just like have to exhale, right? Melt down, relax, right? And just like freaking show up. Like, that is such like a lesson. Like, just show up, friends. Like, no matter what, no matter how you are, like if you're having like a slight headache, if you woke up feeling like, woo, great energy or low energy, like, we have to show up. And it was so funny. Like, last week I was feeling really like energized, and I was excited because I've had on my list of things to do to type up my affirmations and print them off and post them in my bathroom, in my kitchen, just post them around my house, just kind of like shifting the thoughts that I want to think and what I want to manifest in my life. And my sister has had them up for a while, and I've been over at her house for like the past month seeing her affirmations, but it was just one of those things that I was like, meh. And I finally did. I actually have 4 pages of affirmations of, I am so happy and grateful now that, and all of the positive thoughts that I want to think. And I'm so grateful that when I was feeling motivated, that I freaking took action. Like, I took action when I was feeling awesome. And then like days like today, when I kind of woke up kind of grumpy and not as like motivated, that I actually have them. And I wanted to read to you like the first few of them that they start out with. And I have these posted around my house. And now that I'm in my camper, I actually printed them off, and I have a gratitude journal that I rewrite these every day. And I'm at the KOA, so there's outside sounds and you might hear them. And I just like, this was like a great way, like, even though I was feeling like shit, like this morning, I just kind of like, meh. But I took that walk and I started like, just like absorbing my surroundings. And then now I'm here and I'm reading this. Here they are. I love you. I am grateful for you. Keep going. Keep doing the things. Action combats thoughts. Choose the thoughts you want to think. Trust in the process of life. Shelly, you are meant for more. Take the step. I am abundance. I am prosperity. I'm so happy and grateful to be alive. I am so happy and grateful for my family. I am so happy and grateful. It is so easy to make money every day. I love my strong, fit body. I move my body every day in ways I enjoy. And that's just like 1 page of them. But it's so interesting because when you start plugging in the thoughts that you want to think, no matter how you're feeling, it like will instantly, maybe not instantly, but if you read them a couple times, it will shift the way that you're feeling. I am not even kidding you. So I encourage you that it like to give yourself the time in the morning to take the time to have an affirmation gratitude practice. And in my book, Awaken You, I actually, in the back of it, I have a morning practice that is like set up for you. And I'm really excited because I'm working on a PDF to share that you can like download and you can like have at your own disposal. But you can start it today by simply just writing, I'm so happy and grateful for, and then write the things that you're grateful for. Even if you're like struggling, I'm so happy and grateful to be alive. I think that is such a foundational thing. Like we take it so for granted that we're actually here, that we have actually gotten another chance to live. And it's so interesting. Like I'm getting ready to turn 39 in June, which is crazy. My dad just last night, while we were sitting around the campfire and like 4 dogs, and I'm trying to think of how many kids, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kids, 8 adults, like everyone running around. He's like, how old are you, Michelle? Michelle's my birth name. And he's like, what are you, 30? I think you always say like, what are you, 36 or 37? And I had to think like, how old am I? Because my husband's turning 40 and I am actually turning 39, right? I'm freaking turning 39. And I think of where I am and like all of the steps that have got me here today. And I'm so fucking grateful. Like, and even though like there's lots of things on my to-do list, I have a book to write, I have things to grow and share. My neighbor's dog is outside and then my dog is barking. And that's okay. Got the KOA. And I just am freaking grateful to be exactly where I am and to just be showing up here. And like, even here, like I'm on a camper trip. My dogs are barking outside. Jasper, no bark. And I am just here showing up and I just need to exhale. Jasper, no thank you. And I love you, my beautiful sisters. And it's funny. This is perfectly imperfect. I'm recording this episode on my phone and this is just how life is. And I just wanted to say today that I love you and I am still here showing up for you, doing life. And I feel like our self-care practice of this day is to choose or notice how you're responding and reacting to situations, right? And sometimes my brain like automatically messes those up. It's like, think of how you respond as how you immediately snap at something versus a reaction is something that you kind of like maybe take a step back, evaluate before you just like jump down someone's throat. And just notice my situation with a lady when I was picking up my groceries and my items, that she was a cranky pants and I chose to not just like snap back at her, and it like shifted the entire energy and like my entire like communication with her was like more uplifted and elevated, and all because I chose not to be like a snarfly snatch because right. But this morning I did choose to be snarfly snatch to my kids, but then I chose to realign with my affirmations. So self-care practice 1 and 2, because I love these things. These are things that you can do today for yourself to help yourself. And this is for you. It's not for anyone else. Just notice your responses and your reactions. And notice when you are responding, or actually when you are reacting, notice maybe for next time, what can you do to have a better response? What can you do for yourself? Maybe you can take a breath. Maybe you can tap your fingers together. And then I strongly encourage you, my beautiful sisters, to start a gratitude practice. If you haven't already, start that gratitude practice. And there is a power when we scribe, when we write things down, it makes it more concrete in our heart and in our mind. And it's what we put out, we will receive back. So, right, if we are continuing to put out that yucky, snarfy, yucky energy, that's going to keep coming back to us all freaking day. And even if we start feeling yucky, if you write down what you're grateful for, then you will shift your vibration. You will shift your entire day, all because you chose a new way of thinking and a new way of feeling. I love you, my beautiful sisters. Please head over to iTunes and leave Awaken You with Shelly Bond a 5-star rating and a review. It means the universe to me, and it helps this podcast get heard on a wider audience, because that's why I'm here. I'm showing up and I want to share my message with as many women around the globe as I possibly can. And also, you can check out my book, Awaken You, on Amazon, and you just put Awaken You, Shelly Bond, SHELLYBOND. You can follow me on Instagram, Awaken You, Shelly Bond, or Facebook, just Shelly Bond. I love you. I'm grateful for you. Remember your responses and your reactions, and to start that gratitude practice, start it today. Don't wait for when. When is now. I love you. You are amazing. You are wonderful. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of all of the things today. And know that you can shift and transform your life starting today with a gratitude practice. I love you, my beautiful sisters, and I will be back here hanging out with you next week.